Yeah, so let's get involved into the Eastern Conference, hey?
So, Seth, who do you have finishing in your top 4 in the East?
I'm going to start at my 4th spot, and then I'm going to
Okay.
work up to 1 if that's okay.
Yeah, that works.
So at 4, I have Toronto.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I have Toronto.
Okay.
At 3, I have Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
I know, some controversial picks right there.
Wow.
I know, but I back it. And then at 2, this is kind of more back down to earth. I have Philadelphia Union, and then at 1, I have New York City FC.
Wow, that I have.
You see why I wanted to go 4-1?
One of those teams.
You see why I wanted to go 4-1?
So that's very interesting. I've got Union finishing top.
Okay.
With Columbus Crew finishing 2nd.
Okay.
Orlando City finishing 3rd. And FC Cincinnati finishing 4th. So that is very different. Let's talk about NYCFC first. You have them winning the league. I'm going to give you a little preview here. I've got them finishing 11th.
Really?
In the East. And, obviously there's a lot of changes happening in the MLS, in the East. But there's so much competition. If you look at the team, anyone from 12 to about 5 can pretty much finish anywhere. I don't think New York City FC brought enough people in to replace the people that they lost.
So, yeah. I think that's a fair point, but
They lost all of their top, big creators.
So, having New York City FC at 1, I think it all either rides and they win it with this guy or they fall with this guy, but Thales Magno, he's the big question mark at number 9. I think if he hits fire, New York City can do it. But if he doesn't, I'm not surprised if they maybe don't even make the playoffs. I'm not going to lie to you. But I have faith that the kid might be able to do it, so I had to throw him in.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at this team...
And, if I'm not controversial, what are we doing?
I mean, true. When I look at this team, you lost Maxi Morales, who's one of your leaders on your team, one of your best creators on your team.
Yeah.
You lose Sean Johnson. You lose Alex Callens. I mean, you lost pretty much your entire core of your team besides Thiago Andrade and, as you said, Thais Magno.
Yeah.
I mean, with the rest of the East, you're adding Nashville in there as well, which is another playoff team from last year in the West. So you're adding in another competitor into the league. It's just very tough for me to see them competing with some of those top guys. Orlando City, who won the U.S. Open Cup last year. You got FC Cincinnati, who has been an absolute menace over the past few weeks of last season and got into the playoffs and made a few flashes there. I mean, it's tough. And them finishing over Union.
I have them finishing over Union. I think they lost Sean Johnson. And a lot of people have that as a
And they replaced him with Matt Freese.
And I love Matt Freese.
He's okay.
I think he's quality. But that's why I have Toronto so high. It's because I think Sean Johnson is going to be, he's hard to get the ball past. And I think he's going to help them finish in 4th right there. But also, you can't forget that New York City FC has brought in, I'm going to say all of these wrong, so please excuse me. But Brian Cufré, the Argentinian left back, he's coming in from Mallorca, and I think he could honestly make a little bit of an impact in that team. And then you have the youth, Mitja Ilenčić, Slovenian right back, and I think both of them can come in and really help solidify that defense with Matt Freese, and I honestly just think it's going to be hard to score on New York City FC.
See, here's my thing. I think I'm very concerned about the center, the backbone of this team. Obviously, Keaton Park's one of the best 6s in the MLS. He's going to be very good. But the 2 other central midfielders that they have, Morales and Rodriguez, who are the projected starters right now, I just don't think that's enough creativity in the midfield to be able to bring it up. And then the center backs, Chanot is obviously a very experienced guy. Thiago, it's going to be very tough for him to fill the shoes that were left from last season. And obviously Matt Freese. It's pretty much a whole new back 5, if you include the goalkeeper as well, besides Chanot. It's going to be tough.
You're completely correct. And those criticisms are completely fair.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to do it.
It's possible. It's definitely possible.
I think they're going to do it.
I mean, New York City FC, since they were created.
It's a new season. Everything's different.
Yep.
And, why not? I really think Magno could be the key piece.
Oh, he's definitely the key piece. Yeah. He is the key.
But he's unproven, which is a little scary to me. I mean, he has the backup record, which should say that he can do it, but I'm interested to see how he's going to slot in. Yeah, so do you want to move on?
So let's move on to Philadelphia Union real quick before we move on to there. Because you have them finishing second.
I do have them second.
They bottled the final this past year.
Yep.
But, I mean, besides losing Paxton Aronson, I still think they are probably the best team in the East, if not the best team in the MLS.
So this is kind of similar to what I was saying earlier about the LA teams. I think the loss of Paxton Aronson, though it's not going to be a major deal, I do think they're going to struggle to completely fill where he played and what he did for them. So I think it's going to take a bit of time to turn it around, but I do think they'll get right into the full swing of things. I have them at second, very close behind New York City FC. Not surprised if they go first, but I just think Philly are going to take a little bit of time to rekindle and kind of re-get their show on the road.
Why? They've got the best defense in the MLS.
I just told you.
I mean, I don't see why though. I just don't see the reasoning behind it. I mean, they're the best team in arguably the best team in the MLS. They easily have the best defense in the MLS, which is like their key. They've got two of the best goal-scoring strikers. I mean, like if you look at them, I don't see any weaknesses. I really don't see any weaknesses in the team besides maybe
who's
backup.
Who is their? They don't have a proven number 9 right now.
Yes, they do.
Corey Burke is not going to be the guy.
He's not supposed to be the guy. He's their backup.
Who's the guy?
Ura and Carranza.
See, this could be some of my MLS lack of knowledge. I'm not gonna deny that this is all research based and not anything based off of last season.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna stick with my guns, and they're finishing second.
Okay.
And New York City FC are number 1.
Yeah, and I mean they're not finishing outside the top 2.
Yeah.
We can agree on that. They're not going to finish out the top 2.
No. Yeah, they're top 2 for sure.
They're top 2 for sure.
But they're going to be number 2.
I think they win the East by about 7 points.
I think
at
you're
least.
wrong.
But let's move on. Seth, who do you have from 5 to 10?
Okay, so at 5, I have Inter Miami.
Okay.
I think Inter Miami are going to be really strong. I think they could actually push to maybe 3 or 4. But right now, after not having the greatest season last year, I'm going to hold firm and stay with 5. Then I have Columbus. After them, at 7, I move on to Montreal.
Okay.
8, Cincinnati. 9, Atlanta. And 10, Orlando.
Okay, very interesting. Now, so for me, I've got something pretty different to that.
Of course, because some of those teams I just said were in your top 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they were. So I said that it was really close between about 5 and 12. Between 5 and 10, I think it's going to be like 2 or 3 points.
I completely agree.
I think this is going to be extremely close. I've got Nashville finishing 5.
I think the whole getting a playoff spot in the West is going to be. I mean, the East is going to be
tough.
So difficult.
It's going to be extremely difficult. So I've got Nashville finishing 5th.
You have Nashville at 5th?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Nashville are going 12.
No, they are not.
Nashville
Charlotte finishing.
Are falling.
No, Charlotte finishing in 6th, Inter Miami finishing in 7th. I think those 3 can kind of flip-flop anyway. I don't really care where you put them.
I like the Charlotte shout. I
I think those 3 are going to figure out those last 3 playoff spots. Then Montreal 8, Red Bull 9, and Toronto 10. So again, as I mentioned, these guys between like 4 and 12 could be 9 points in between them. So they can go pretty much any way. But when I was looking at it, I mean, Inter Miami, they had Joseph Martinez.
I was about to say, I think Joseph Martinez is going to be the guy for Inter Miami. And though I have Atlanta, where do I have them? Let me count. 1, 2, 3. I have them at 9. I can see them falling farther down the list.
Interesting.
I think they're really going to struggle to fill that void. But I think Inter Miami, dude, they got Joseph Martinez now in attack. Phil Neville is starting to put together his team that he wants. Yep. And I think the balance between veterans and young talent Beckham's team have, I think they're going to push. Yep. I think they're going to push hard, dude.
I think they're a really good team. They've collected a bunch of good veteran defenders too. My one big thing is loss of Pozuelo. Yeah. I think he was a good veteran creative player in that midfield, and we'll see if they can fill that void. But I mean, adding Joseph Martinez to replace Higuain.
It's hard to bet against Martinez.
He's one of the best strikers in the MLS.
He's a better attacker than Higuain for sure.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Current form, of course.
But no, they've added a lot of good quality defenders. The midfield, we'll see how it works together. I think there are going to be some holes. I think it can still be good. It'll just take some time for them to kind of gel.
Yeah.
But they're definitely a playoff team. And as you said, Joseph Martinez. But you've got Nashville finishing 12th.
Yeah.
They were one of the best teams in the West, which was arguably more competitive than the East last year.
I know.
What do you see?
I'm very aware. I will tell you what I see. I see Zimmerman.
Mm-hmm. One of the best MLS players.
No.
He's won the last 2 Defenders of the Year.
I don't like him.
Why?
Because I thought he shouldn't have started for the U.S. team, and
Yes, he should have.
No, he shouldn't have.
Who should have started over him?
Carter Walker Vickers.
Cameron Carter Vickers. And also,
Vickers.
he should have been the other.
Tim Ream. How do you not have Tim Ream and Vickers there, dude? Look. Me putting Nashville low is because I don't like what's his name? Lovitz?
Daniel Lovitz? The Elon alum?
Yeah, I don't like Daniel Lovitz. I think he's not great. I think Zimmerman is overrated, and I think they're overrated, dude. I'd take a bet they don't make playoffs. I bet you $100
they will definitely make the playoffs.
You want to take a bet?
This year.
I'll bet you $50 right now.
$50 right now.
I'll bet you $50
right.
they don't make
$50 right now. Nashville will be making the playoffs. There's no question about it.
But the team that might make playoffs are Charlotte FC.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think
Charlotte
they're a shoo-in.
have a fire burning within them right now, and being in North Carolina, soccer's never been this exciting.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Or football, excuse me, has never been this exciting. They did lose Daniel Royce and Jordi Alcivar, but I think
their leader in Christian Fuchs as well. So that was huge.
That's gonna be tough, but they have a young goalkeeper pushing for the starting spot, George Marks. I played with George growing up, and I'm back in Charlotte. I have some friends who work there, and I think they're going to be a good team. They've brought in the players they need to make a difference. I think with Ashley Westwood and Enzo Copetti, and I think they're going to do it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've created a very good team here in Charlotte. It's their second year. They've got a ton of energy from the fans. One of the best supporters in the entire MLS.
Yeah.
You mentioned Enzo Copetti. He's coming from Racing Club, where he had 26 goal contributions last season. So he is going to be huge for them, alongside Swiderski as well.
Yeah.
Swiderski was great for them last year.
And then you got Vardas on the wing.
Yep. Ashley Westwood coming in, a very good central midfielder.
He is, again, one of those players that just calm on the ball, moves it well, and knows when to attack, knows when to drop, and is going to be a big component for their either success or failure.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a very solid team this year.
I am afraid of them on injuries, though.
Yeah.
Their depth is not amazing. It's not bad, but it's not where it needs to be, I don't think, for them to really be a major contender in this season.
But I mean, if they can stay healthy, I think
if they can stay healthy, I think
best
they can
teams.
they can have a big run. And you're right, Charlotte is just on fire. The fan base is unreal right now for Charlotte FC, and they're going to be running.
All right, so let's go 11 through 15 here. What do you have?
I have DC United finishing last.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm starting up again.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
DC United last at 15. Chicago 14. Nashville 13. They're not going to do it. 12, I got Charlotte FC. 11, I have the New England Revs, and then at 10, I have Orlando.
I don't understand it, honestly. I really don't. I mean, Chicago Fire and DC, they're the bottom 2 teams. I think that I have them flip-flopped. I've got Chicago finishing 15, DC finishing 14. I mean, maybe Wayne Rooney can make something happen, but...
he's not the coach.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
How do you know that?
We've seen him at Derby.
Yeah, that's a completely different... role than DC United.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's a championship.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a big
better
difference.
League than MLS.
Yeah, so he's going to come into the MLS, less competition, and he's got a lot of young,
quality players. But I don't
think
think he has the squad to do it.
I think he does. I think there's enough.
I think, though football is getting better in the MLS, it's a different style of play to England. It's a lot more physical.
He played with DC United. He knows how
I
they
know
play.
he played with DC United, but I think coaching and implementing tactics is going to be a difficult thing to see. But I don't know why we're arguing over it. We both have them finishing last.
Yeah. No, I finished second to last, first of all.
Okay.
But I think DC United...
I could have them second to last.
Thing.
Them in Chicago can flop.
Here's the thing, though. I could see DC United making a run and coming into that 11, 12, 13 spot.
Look, I'd be stoked if they did.
They brought in Klitsch from Leeds United. They brought in Ruan, who was one of the best players for Orlando City last year.
Yeah.
And Tyler Miller, who is a great starting goalkeeper. They've got a good team, along with Taxi Fontes and Christian Benteke. They've got a good team.
They do have a good team.
It's just they have to figure things out because they weren't good. They were awful last year. Bringing in a new head coach, bringing in a lot of new pieces, it might take some time for them to click. But I have them in 13 or for whatever the
my
second
thing is,
but
who are they gonna? I don't see them beating Nashville, which is crazy to say. I don't see them beating. Sorry for the Nashville slander, but I'm here for it. I don't see them beating Charlotte. I don't see them beating the Revs. I don't see them beating Orlando. I don't see them beating Atlanta.
I'm not saying
I don't see
that.
them beating Cincinnati. So I don't think they're gonna do it.
I think the highest they can finish is 11th.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good season for them if you look at it. So I think they're a good team. I think they could make some strides. But if you just look at last season, having some growing pains now, trying to figure things out, I have them finishing 13th. But I think they could be a good team. They've got the potential to be a good team. Is there anybody else that you want to talk about here? I've got NYCFC at 12, Atlanta United 11, the Revs 13.
There's nobody I really want to point out except I think the Revs are going to do it right.
Yeah.
I think the New England Revs are going to have an okay season. I don't really know. I think they could do well. I think they could fall. But I think there's somebody to keep an eye on.
Yeah, there's someone definitely to keep an eye on. There's going to be some things. A lot of controversy in that.
A lot of controversy. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe.
Who's right? And where's Nashville going to finish?
Yeah, well, let us know what you think on the bet. Again,
13-5 is a very, very different view.
I'm not the most experienced in the MLS. I will concede that. But at the same time, I'm sticking with my picks.